Welcome to this course on how to get your users to champion your brand. My name is Alex Genadinik and I'll be your instructor. Welcome. I'll briefly tell you what to expect from the course and we'll start right away. Well, in this course, we're going to go over exactly how to get users to champion your brand. I'm going to introduce you to the science and neuroscience of how to delight your customers, what delight means for us under the hood in our brain, and how to evoke that in our customers so that they love your brand. And then I'm going to go over a variety of ways that you can combine and use all of them ideally to, or just pick and choose whichever you like, to get your customers, your users, to champion your brand and promote your brand. After that, of course, we'll have a section on virality. I'll introduce you to the viral coefficient formula. You can actually calculate virality. We'll do that together and we'll go over how to make your business more viral. That will be a very, very fun course, action-packed course with many strategies that you can literally, you can't apply them right away because you have to get permission from your team and buy-in from other teams, but you can begin strategizing and thinking about how to do it today. They are very actionable and you can think about it today and begin putting it into action soon. So with that, let's begin. In order to turn customers into champions of your business, those customers have to be extra delighted by your business. And in this video, I want to show you the science and neuroscience of delight. And there's been a lot of research around this subject matter. And in this video, I want to show you this particular piece of research, and I'll have the link to this piece of research in the resources of this video. But now I just want to go over the highlights of it with you and explain it to you in layman's terms. But of course, you can read the full article on your own time. It's a pretty lengthy academic article. It's not something fun for everybody, but it is interesting. So what is this dopamine reward prediction error? The way it works is when a person anticipates something, they have dopamine release in their brain. That feels good. When they get that thing they expect, they have an additional tiny dopamine release. That also feels good, but just less so. It's the anticipation that's really motivating. And you might recognize this phenomenon in video games. Like you work really hard to beat some level, and you have an incredible amount of motivation to beat that level. When you beat that level, it kind of feels good, but then you're asking like, what's next? Okay, you always need to chase the next level. And this is partially useful in many of the nuances with which you structure your business strategy. But here, we're not exactly after that. Here, we're after, well, what happens if you play a game, you beat a level, and something extra amazing happens? In a game, that doesn't really occur. Maybe you'll get some extra points, but it's not so amazing. But when using actual products and engaging with actual businesses, you can create that. So for example, let's say out of the blue, you're contacted by whichever business you're engaging with, and they just give you an extra coupon off. No questions asked, no catch. Here's a $10 coupon for next time. Or even better, here's a cashback reward without doing anything extra, just for being a great client. And it's money that you already paid, so you basically would just be getting money back. So there's no obligation to buy anything. Now, that just doesn't happen. But imagine if it did happen. You'd be quite delighted because it's unexpected. You see, there's a reward prediction error. You're expecting only to buy a product, use a product exactly as described. Whenever something happens that's better than described, you have extra dopamine release, which feels extra good. And that's delight. That's when you're like, wow, this company is amazing. I got more value, right? That's the response that people have. Conversely, when people experience a worse service that they expected, they're obviously extra frustrated. And you see, that's exactly what this abstract explains. Let's read it together. Reward prediction errors consist of differences. The differences, you see, between received and predicted rewards. They are crucial for basic forms of learning about rewards that make us strive for more rewards, which is an evolutionary beneficial trait. Then they talk about how dopamine neurons work and where they're located in the brain and how it's similar across different species of animals and humans, etc. And then this long article goes on. I'll just pick one more tidbit out of here. Essentially right here, reward prediction errors in dopamine neurons. The highlighted part, the response to the reward itself disappears when the reward is predicted. When you get exactly what you're expecting, it only feels kind of good, but not great. But if more than predicted reward occurs, then the dopamine neuron shows stronger responses. And by contrast, their activity decreases if no or less than predicted reward occurs. This is what I just explained a minute ago. And of course, the example I gave with the money back surprise generally doesn't happen because it's expensive for companies to provide, but it was a simplistic enough example that's easy to understand. But you see, in your situation, in your business, what you want to do is find little moments that can delight. And so now with this research, you know how to delight. There's a formula to it. Set expectations, deliver above expectations, surprisingly. If you make it predictable, well then, no matter how amazing your product or service is, if the customer already expects amazing, when they get amazing, they'll be only a little bit impressed. But guess what? If you make them expect amazing, but they get less than amazing or not amazing at all, they're going to be very frustrated, even if it's very, very good still, because they're expecting amazing. So this can be a double-edged sword. And of course, in reality, what do? We talk about how great our business is when we're trying to sell. And so we set really high expectations in our clients. But then our clients get our products, and of course, we can't predict exactly. Sometimes the clients don't perceive our business as amazing as we promised, and so suddenly they're frustrated. So in order to maximize this phenomenon, because this precise phenomenon is exactly what's going to lead to happy clients who promote us, who become champions of our business, because that only happens when they are super, super, super delighted. So in order to delight, we have to walk the tightrope of promising to be better than our competitors, obviously, but not too amazing, because if we promise to be too amazing, we increase the risk of them not being as delighted with our product. But if we can still promise to be more amazing than the clients, but not too amazing, yet as they're using our product, we can find ways to surprisingly delight our customers. That's the recipe for the customers to feel really good about our business and become champions of our business and promote it. Now I want to talk about how to inspire your users and customers to champion and promote your brand because your vision and purpose aligns. Now, many brands face this question: who you are, what you do, why do you do it? Everybody knows who they are. We sell widgets. Okay, how do you do it? Okay, we make them, we sell them. Pretty easy. Even in a more complex business, who you are and what you do, you know what it is. It would be absurd not to know. But the why is tricky because many brands miss out on the why, and that's the opportunity to align your vision with your consumer. Actually, it's an opportunity to align your vision with your employees as well, because when your employees believe in your company's vision, then of course your consumers might as well. I'll give you an example. What if you're a drugstore and 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you used to sell cigarettes? Your consumers see that and they're like, well, we know that it's going to cause people serious illness. But what if you were the first drugstore to stop selling cigarettes? You would take so much heat for that, so much criticism, because the investors will be like, we're losing money, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, how can you stop selling cigarettes? And you're like, well, we're killing people. But but money, because investors are like, in traditional business theory, a public company is supposed to prioritize making profits. In old school thinking would find nothing wrong with that. And that's how you get a lot of these evil brands, right? But that's where the opportunity is, because when you the level, the bar is so low. You just have to beat the evil brands, because in many industries, the brands are quite evil. They would never say that about themselves. They say, we help to make the world in a better place by helping you with your vices, by entertainment or relief or enjoyment of something, but they're also helping you with your vices. So if you were the first mover in your industry, or just a better brand in your industry that just, yesterday nobody was organic, today many were organic. So whatever the trend is, if you truly embrace that trend and make it a part of your company's vision, something that you genuinely believe is good, not something that you will pay lip service to, and you will say, well, the young people want it, so we'll say, we don't really believe it, but it's kind of the trend, so we have to say it now. Let's position like that. It should be something that your leadership team truly believes, and your employees also truly can get behind. Something actually good that the company can have as its purpose, as its mission statement, and suddenly you have something to share with your customers. And guess what? Your customers are probably similar to, at least in some way, to the people who work at your company. Not always, but if you do something good, it will resonate. Especially if you start showing case studies. Here's how this one customer, his life before or her life before and after. And suddenly other customers will see, oh, you change people's lives for the better. I not only want that for myself, I'm happy promoting that because it aligns with my own vision. Because who wouldn't want to do nice things? Most people would probably agree that if your brand truly does something nice and they can tell you're sincere about it, they would be a fan of your brand. And if they had a chance, they would recommend your brand. And so there you go. That the purpose, why you do what you do, find it, make it something that your customers can get behind, turn it into a sound bite, like make it something that people can repeat in one sentence, make it sound catchy and memorable, and suddenly you're known for that. That's something people want to share. That's the recipe for getting a brand to align with the purpose with the customers. Of course, don't be fake, because fakeness in this realm is extremely easy to spot, and when you're fake doing this, it's almost nothing worse because you're just gross. Kind of like pandering, they call it, right? That you're pandering for dollars, you're pandering for likes. It's easy to tell that you don't really believe what you're saying, but you have to say it because that's the trend, so you're saying it anyway. That's almost like embarrassing levels. And I'm sure you've seen brands that they're kind of still evil brands, but they say like, we're so good. And you're like, oh, no, you are not. No, you are not. You're not going to fool me. So it sometimes requires a shift in what you actually do. Because if you, let's say, are selling cigarettes, if you're the manufacturer of cigarettes, it's wildly hard to change that. And of course, for different businesses, it's not so hard to change that. But sometimes it does require a shift, because what worked some decades ago no longer really works well now. But the opposite, the new thing on top of that, works well now. And so you must evolve your business and your purpose, and your customers will follow and champion that if they see it's genuine and good. If you want users to champion your brand, there's one very, very impactful approach that I'm going to talk about in this video, and that is to stop seeing your brand as just products or services or a suite or collection of products or services, and venture into thought leadership. You would want to start facilitating conversations online. You would maybe get into advocacy related to the brand of your company. So let's say you're a pet food company. Pretty boring. People don't really champion pet foods. But what if you're the first pet food company that does organic food? Well, that's already been done, obviously. But what if you're the first one to sponsor incredible research in this field, completely objective, academic research? What really is the healthiest diet for each breed of dogs and cats? Okay, now suddenly, if you're leading that movement, you're not just a random food company that can be replaced and swapped in and out. You are really in the forefront of the minds of people who love their pets and who really want the best and who are passionate about their pets. People who are passionate about their pets are naturally passionate about people who help pets, and that will be you through your thought leadership, advocacy, that level of engagement, thought leadership. Of course, that opens up new channels for you in your own marketing, like more social media traffic and more social media engagement. Yes, that would be great for you to promote, to blast your future promotional messages out. Yes. But in terms of getting those pet owners to promote your brand, that would do wonders because they would promote your brand passionately. And guess what? Pet owners know other pet owners. It works like that in many, many communities. People who have some issue or need something, they usually surround themselves with at least some of similar-minded people. So no matter what your company is, look for thought leadership, advocacy avenues that make sense for your brand. It doesn't have to be too controversial, depending on what your tolerance level is for controversy or standing out. Maybe your brand isn't all about that, but you can do something, blogging, creating content, inspiring conversations online that are meaningful and sincere. Because if they're not meaningful and sincere, people just won't care. But if they're meaningful and sincere and you really passionately work on it and devote resources to it, well, that's going to get your passionate customers to champion your brand. That easy. Of course, it's not that easy. It requires a lot of work, but the theory of it is quite easy to understand and grasp, and it's just a matter of you starting to implement such a program within your business. Now let's talk about how to use real user case studies to get users to champion your brand. And funny enough, for this example, let's actually use Udemy. When Udemy just started out, or was starting out, it was already popular, but it was just growing. Well, they were thinking internally, how do we promote our business? And of course, they're very good at promoting their business, but one of the channels was getting users to promote their brand, especially to other like instructors. To other instructors, to inspire other instructors to sign on to teach on Udemy and to promote on social media, so that when a teacher promotes a course, obviously the course is on Udemy, so Udemy gets promoted and the Udemy brand grows. And so Udemy handpicked some of the most social and highest quality instructors, and they started doing case studies, and they started encouraging not only internally Udemy championing doing those case studies, but the instructors themselves were encouraged to do something like, hey, I made my first $1,000 on Udemy this month, look at how I did it. And so that would go a little viral online, right? That kind of content gets shared around because people want to know. People really want to know how other people make money online so that they can do it too. And so users, teachers, became kind of the brand ambassadors. And you can look at the history of Udemy. Udemy instructors have been on television talking about Udemy. They've been in all kinds of media, podcasts. When I actually go on any podcasts or anything like that, people ask me about my courses, I can't help but mention Udemy, right? And the more successful that your customers become, the more such case studies there are. And keep in mind, it's not just you creating a select number of case studies, because there's a limit in how much you can create. But the second step to this is get your customers to accomplish something that they're going to be proud of sharing, and then they're going to mention, I did this with the help of such and such brand, that such and such brand is you. They're naturally going to promote your brand, champion your brand, because you're encouraging them and showing how good of a culture there can be, how supportive and encouraging of a culture there can be. Because even in Udemy's days, some people were like, stop telling other people how much money you're making because it's not cool. Like a lot of people are struggling with money. So why are you saying, showing off you're making a lot of money? It's not a nice thing to do. Right? In many cultures, including how I was raised, that's not nice to do. Like I wouldn't, it's not my natural instinct to say, look at how much money I'm making. That would be ridiculous. But Udemy encouraged people to actually show, hey, look, I'm succeeding with Udemy. And it's not just about it wasn't just about money. It was about inspiring the next wave of instructors and the next wave of students to learn. And so when you position it like that and you make an encouraging environment around that, and you discourage the critics, encourage people to share, then that creates an army of people who are already users and customers who go out and share how good their experience with your company is. And so that way, of course, is a very powerful way to have an army of people be brand ambassadors for you and champion your brand. One thing that companies constantly do is think about what features or what products they can add to their existing offering that makes it more fun with friends. Because when you have something that's more fun with friends, anyone who wants to participate will invite a friend. And so that's virality. Your customers will invite friends if there's something in it for your customers, meaning they'll have more fun. And you see examples of this everywhere. Like imagine you get a mobile app game, like a puzzle, and these puzzles can be played against the computer, but it can be played against other people. So what do people do? They invite a person, they take a turn, the friend takes a turn, they take a turn, and then they have to wait for a friend. They're waiting for a friend, and they think, while I'm waiting for a friend, why don't I invite another friend to play? And so they invite another friend, and guess what? That same problem happens where they're waiting for the friend's turn, and suddenly they're bored again, right? So now they're waiting for two people to take a turn, and they're bored. Okay, invite a third person, fourth person, fifth person, and one person can invite 100 people if you have such level of virality. Of course, it's not always easy to come up with such amazing features that are so viral, because as an opposite example, years ago, I used to run mobile apps for business, and people used to be able to write little business plans right on the app. So the idea was, okay, I built a feature that allowed them to invite their business partners. But people just don't have 100 business partners, right? They have maybe one business partner sometimes, and even then, the business partners probably don't want to use the app, and sometimes people are private, so they don't share. So the level of virality was maximum one, but rarely that. So it's not always so easy to come up with something that's super viral, but that's what we want to aspire to. And one thing I want to bring to your attention is that just about any business can have events. Events can be workshops. These are not the main offering of the business, but on the side, right? Like a side thing, community building thing. Now, events are better with a friend. People come to events with friends. And suddenly you have events, which can be a great way to promote your business, to build engagement with current clients, but it's another way to get event attendees, who are probably your current clients, to invite friends. So suddenly you're getting that extra virality from the events. And events can be quite universal, so it's a great example. And even if you don't want to put on events in person, because that can be cumbersome and you need a venue, etc., it can be very expensive to put on, a lot of staff, you can have online events as long as the online events are interesting and good. So these are just some of the ways to have different kinds of businesses, different industries can have features that are viral enough that customers invite their friends. And of course, in your case, whatever your situation is, try to think, what can you do within your current business without changing your business model, but just maybe adding some quirk, some feature, some new product that suddenly that is more fun to do, or more engaging, or more interesting to do with a friend. And suddenly you have a lot more sharing from your current customers. One way to delight and surprise your customers can be to celebrate their small wins. As an example, recently at a gym, I saw something very nice. Somebody had a 50th session, like a session, a class they took. And what do most gyms do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. But this gym, actually, the owner realized that that person was renting a locker, and they had like little balloons drawn on the locker. It was erasable. It took 2 minutes to draw, but it was very pleasant and nice. Like, welcome to your 50th session. Amazing, right? costs nothing but attention. I've never seen gyms do that in the long time I've gone to gyms until that one time, so it stands out, but it's really easy to do. Things like that, celebrating your customers' small milestone. Whatever your customers do, maybe it's something healthy that they're doing, eating better. Maybe they're getting some product that's really helpful for them. Any different businesses are so different that would be hard for me to give examples that are applicable across the board, but celebrate small wins is free. That's the thing. And you can track it so easily because customers are tracked, they have sessions, they have visits, they have all kinds of engagement metrics are measured. That's the milestones, that's the small wins. And so it becomes really easy to identify who's having small wins and celebrate that in a nice, pleasant way that's human. You see, it doesn't, being human costs nothing. Being nice costs nothing, like this example with the gym. But it actually builds stronger relationships because it is human. Because, yeah, sure, they could have gotten a t-shirt or something, but, then you start thinking about what are the costs of the t-shirts? Is that really going to, make the profits back with this client? And then you never know. And then you start getting into these debates with yourself of like, oh, I got to do analytics and customer retention and see how these t-shirts pan out. But you don't have to do any of that. Just do something nice and human, and usually that's free. Now I want to share with you how simple and effective it can be to create a delightful and surprising moment that creates a situation in your customer's mind where they're like, ooh, that was delightful and surprising, right? We're going to use the reward prediction error in practice, and I'm going to use my example. So I have a number of courses that I teach. Some of those courses are marketing courses, and I know, what do people want in marketing courses? They want to learn how to promote their business, but really that's just that step to get traffic to their website or customers, whatever, right? They want that traffic. So I'm thinking, how can I provide them that traffic? Because they're coming in to learn, and of course I have to provide the learning. That's why they're there. Without that, they'll get frustrated. But how do I delight them? How do I surprise them? So I've got a Facebook group for entrepreneurs, and 1 + 1 equals, I put 1 + 1 together, and I said, well, why don't I weaponize or utilize or use this Facebook group intelligently, or even my Twitter? Why don't I let people create a contest or some sort of a situation where obviously I can't promote everybody on my Facebook group, it will just create a spam factory. But I can promote a select few people, maybe that they have to go through some hoops, like they have to complete a course or something, just so that it's not an overwhelming volume for me. But at the same time, that reward is available for everyone who can try. And so in the beginnings of my marketing courses, what I started doing, and I'm just rolling this out, but I've been seeing actually a lot of positive response in sharing and reviews that people have been leaving. And what's been happening is I literally, in like the first, second, or third video, I say, surprise, I'd like to make this more of a community. Introduce your business. You can post the URL right in the Q&A so other students see it. Let's actually make it more of a community of students. And not only that, as an extra surprise, I really go out of my way to help you promote your business, because obviously it's a marketing course. I'll feature you on my blog, or I'll feature you on my Facebook group or Twitter, wherever it actually makes sense. And guess what? This can be very beneficial to you, because if you create something like that, your situation may not be like mine, obviously, but think about, let's say, if I tweet something out about a student, well, I'm actually going to promote myself also, right? Because I'm going to say something like, I want to introduce such and such student. They're making a great progress in my XYZ course. And I'm going to, of course, link to their business, and I'm going to promote them, but there's that blurb, they're making progress. Guess what that student might do? That student might retweet that tweet. Naturally, that's what people do, because that tweet will be very promotional. And maybe they'll have friends, and maybe the friends will retweet that tweet. But you see, there's levels of little bit of benefit for me, a lot of benefit for that student, but they're gonna appreciate this because none of the other instructors go through such lengths. I mean, probably some instructors think very hard about how to delight, and probably there's great things they do, but most instructors just, create a course, sell a course, create a course, sell a course, and they don't think about, well, how do I delight? How do I go the extra mile? And so, of course, through that, I will stand out. And it's a real case. I tried it out as an experiment in a few courses. It really worked. I started at this specific initiative. I started it about a month ago, and I'm seeing across the board in different courses really good engagement, and people are actually championing whatever I'm promoting in the courses, except in very, very few instances, and this is very interesting. Sometimes the opposite has happened, where students aren't, they're like leaving worse reviews. And I started thinking, well, why? And here's interesting why. And it's a mistake that you don't want to make, because let's say you're telling all of your customers about this great way you can delight them. But not all of them need that thing you're delighting with. For example, in my marketing courses, maybe 80% of the people can benefit from it, but 20% of the people don't find it useful for whatever reason. Maybe they're working for a larger company who doesn't need that, or some other reason. So they don't need it. Then that announcement, 1, 2, 3 minutes that it takes, becomes a waste of their time, makes the product worse. Which means that you have to be super, super accurate. Really accurate in understanding your customers' needs, what they really, really, really need, so that you can find that exact thing that delights them. Because if you just do something that's easy for you to do, like here's an ebook, or something else that shows half effort and kind of falls flat, that will actually backfire. Not only that thing you're offering is not interesting, but you're also wasting people's time, and it kind of portrays your brand as like, we go half of the extra mile for you, right? Not so good. But if you really, really go the extra mile and think really hard, what do they need? Get to know them deeply and provide that and delight with that, that's where results come. One free and easy way to get users to champion your brand by having them feel delighted with your brand, and by using that anticipation reward error, where they expect just a regular service, but you provide something better, is actually with your language, how you talk to your customers. Let's say you're a greeter at a store or at a gym or anywhere else. There's a standard greeting, right? Like, hello, hi, how are you? And nobody cares. Or what if you struck up a conversation? Let's say you're in a gym, you're working in a gym. What if you make a point to strike up a conversation with random 3 people every day, 3 members? If you're working at a gym, you're striking up a conversation with random 3 members. And you ask them, how's your gym progress going? Whatever is relevant for the conversation. And then later you have a conversation with them again, and then you tell them, I really like having you at the gym. You really add a lot of positive energy to the gym. Just that simple line. You really add a lot of positive energy to the gym. I love having you here. Or many versions of that kind of a phrase. You can have more things, nice things you say, but just that. Nobody says to anybody such nice things. And so that statement would stick out in the memory of that person. That person would be like, oh, that's very nice. Because people go into the gym, they just kind of go to the gym, they go, they leave, they go, they leave, and nobody tells them they're so amazing too much, right? So that sticks out. And how do I know that? Because many years ago, a gym owner that I used to go to told me that, and I remember that. You see, it's stuck, it's real. And just little phrases like that. So whatever you can do to your customers, if you say, if you're in customer support and somebody asks you a question and you answer that question, fine, you answer that question. But what if you just follow it up with just one extra sentence. And please let me know if you have any other questions. I'm here to help you. Okay, like some customer service agents do that, but not all. And so it's not quite expected. But if you say it nicely and warmly and say it like that, that does make a difference. How do I know? Because actually, I used to sell something a long time ago. Well, I still sell it. And I used to just sell it. And then for one sale, I got a partner. And that partner did the same thing but I saw in his email, he followed it up with, and please let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. And I thought, wow, that's such a nicer way than I do it. And I was like, he did it right. And so I incorporated that into how I sell. Now I have that in my template. I have all these kinds of niceties in my template. It costs me next to nothing, but it makes a difference on a human level. And human level can be free and cheap, nothing, but it can truly, truly resonate if it's done right. In the previous video, I encouraged you to use a product or service of a customer and adopt the mindset that you can learn something from them. But if I just left it at that, you would probably think, okay, fine, it's an okay idea, I'll do it later. But what if I encouraged you just a little bit more and said, when you do that, post your findings in the Q&A of this video so that we can hopefully collect a great knowledge base for how different businesses delight their customers. So if many people share what they find, this will become a really great resources for everyone who's new, but everyone who's also been in this course earlier, because you have lifetime access to this course, so you can always come back to it and reference what are people saying. So that'll be a fantastic exercise for how we can be more of a community together and how we can all learn from each other. Since we're talking about how to get your users to become champions of your business, there's one very special ingredient you need for that, and that is users, naturally. So in this video, let's talk about how to get more users from your onboarding. And specifically in this video, we're going to talk about pricing and discounting and sales. Because let's say you have a price and your price is your price. Well, if you look at the reward prediction error, that's not exciting at all. Your price is your price. That doesn't move anything in the psychology of your customer. But what if you do something tricky? So let's say your product used to be $20, but now you mark it as $25 and then say $5 off. Ooh, now there's a reward prediction error. Oh, that's exciting. Let's look at that. The customer gets a little interested. And what if you put in like clearance, another tag, clearance item, save. Now instead of just a sale, now there's like not only a sale expiration, right? Because every sale has an expiration time, but there may be no more items of that sale. Now you're using also scarcity tactics to get people to act and buy. So that's something you can do to just increase the sales conversion rate by maintaining the same product. Many companies do this. All kinds of retailers do this all the time. You go to a store, oh, there's a sale. No, there's not a sale. The sale price is the regular price, but all the other times they just marked it up to get more profit. That's usually, or at least very often, how it works. Also, I want to present another nuance. Maybe you have come across this as a customer. Let's say you want to buy something online. You go through the checkout process, something costs $10. Okay, $10, fine. Then you start going through the checkout and they're like, oh, shipping, $5 for shipping. Okay, I don't want to pay $5 extra. I thought it was 10. You see, it's reward prediction error to the negative. Now it's way worse. Oh, not only shipping, also tax. Wow, it's way worse. But what do some companies do? They give an option for free shipping. Oh, free shipping! I didn't expect that. Reward prediction error. Now it's basically the same price, but you incentivize the buy from, you lose a little bit of the profit, because a lot of companies, they charge you a certain amount per shipping. They might even make money off of you per shipping. Like they might charge $5, but it really costs them like $3. You don't know. So a lot of companies do this. So they make this more money, but then they lose out on many sales because their conversion rate goes down. And so of course, you have to do the math for your situation. If you can lose more customers but make a higher profit margin, it just depends on how many customers you lose. You see, if you lose not that many but maintain a better profit margin, then it's better to show the extra tax and the shipping costs later. But if that ends up not profitable or not sustainable, or you're losing way too many, then you may have to forego the shipment cost and eat that cost so that your conversion rate goes up, because the shipping and the tax and all this, tax is sometimes unavoidable, but the shipping is. So that's a part of your sale. Or sometimes what companies do if they're smart, they're like, well, free shipping on purchases that are like more than $20 or $25 or $50. So the customer's like, well, I can still want the free shipping, but I'm just gonna have to get one more thing. Okay. So then the customer bought more and they got a sale and the conversion rate's still pretty good, right? So you can use these nuances in your situation as well, just smartly, and always test, check your data, check your statistics, and always adjust until you come to the best dynamic within the pricing. But certainly be aware of the trickery that goes on with reward prediction error to manipulate the profit margin and sales conversion rate so that people sign up, because you really need people to sign up so that they can use your product and become champions of it. One smart thing that business owners can do is respectfully and intently use the products and services of your competitors without your competitors, of course, knowing that. Because you can find many things, all the things they are doing right. You don't need to figure those things out. You see something good in their product, use that as an inspiration for your own product. It's not really like copywritten. Most things aren't copywritten or trademark. If they are, obviously don't do that. But most things, it's completely fine and legal to take inspiration from other products and services. It's totally fine. It's how things are done. It's just that most business owners don't do that because there's such a distrust and dislike common among business owners of their competitors, because their whole day is often like, I'm gonna outdo my competitors. But actually, they're amazing to learn from. And so in this video, we can talk about how we can use their product and see where is it good? How do they delight? How do they transition those customers from being just customers to being more than customers? What's the next step that they take their customers on to? Is it a social media platform? Is it an email list? Okay, you sign up for their email list, see what their email newsletter is like. Does the newsletter offer some freebies, some discounts? Where is that moment of engagement where they get the super fans by which they're doing so well? And so instead of thinking we are better than competitors, you want to adopt the mindset that we can learn from everyone, not only people who are ahead of us, but even people who are behind us. As long as you keep learning from everyone, you will get everyone to do the challenging work for you, because it's actually a lot of experimentation, a lot of trials and errors to find just the right ways to please clients, because they can be sometimes hard to please because they have just specific needs and you can't mind read everything. You make one product that's supposed to help everybody, but everybody has a different need. So it's really hard to make a product that pleases the largest group of people. And that's why it's hard, but that's why you use the competitor's product. So I strongly encourage you to discard the mindset, I don't like the competitors, they cannot do anything good, they're so bad, like they're cheating or whatever. People have this is not uncommon. Like I've talked to so many business owners who literally, that's their internal dialogue, and when you first ask them about their clients, that's literally the kind of things they say. I can't tell you what to think, but I strongly encourage you to also adopt the mindset that you can learn from them and to take the time to use their product with an open mind. It will really help you understand how they're delighting their customers, how they're getting their customers to become super fans who promote them, so that you can then turn around and do the same thing in your business. If you want your clients to become champions of your business, one helpful thing for us to understand is that people are highly incentivized by financial reward. And in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to talk you through, how to create a financial reward for your customers. Now, here's an example of a t-shirt store that I actually created a while ago. I'm not really promoting it because I'm kind of considering killing it. I got excited about it early on, but then I just have my main business to run, and then I have other hobbies and families. I just couldn't. But it will serve us as a good example for this, because here it's waveifyoulike.com. What you can do is scroll down all the way. I have an affiliate program. If you're not familiar with affiliate marketing, here's how it works. I'll click on this link and you see it says create an affiliate account, 25% commissions. Very easy to enroll. And basically you see this is a t-shirt store. So I make about $9 per t-shirt, or approximately that, when I sell a t-shirt. So I have significant profit margin here, and I can give some of that away to customers. So what I wanted to do originally when I thought of this was to create an army of customers, or at least people who know about my business, and have them become people who promote my business. And you can set something like that up for your business too. In this video, I'll walk you through every step of the way. So the first part is the technical part. How do you set this up? This particular website is created with Shopify. Shopify is kind of like the CMS, the technology that's used to create a website. You might have WordPress. You might have other technology that you use to create your website. All of these, if you search for plugins or additional software, they usually have affiliate plugins you can use. That's exactly what I did here. It's basically like an add-on software that a third-party company makes. I installed it with one click without really any technical work, and suddenly I got this affiliate program. It's really that easy. That software helps you manage all your affiliate signups. It helps you manage the commissions, etc. Then what you have to do is make your affiliate program attractive. Now, you see here, it's not so attractive at first sight. 25% commissions, but it's like $19 product, so only a couple of dollars people would make. But in your case, you can do something more generous. The more generous the affiliate program is, the easier it is to get people to sign up and try it out, because people will realize, oh, they can make money from this more easily. So you can create recurring commission structures. You can give away a larger discount, etc., etc. And by the way, just so that you know how prevalent this is, if you're not familiar with affiliate programs, the biggest brands in the world have gigantic affiliate programs. Let me give you an example. Amazon. You see, when I go to Amazon and I scroll all the way down, one of the links here is become an affiliate. You see this? Same exact thing as me. You see, this is extremely common. In fact, it's so common, I would say it's one of the more common business practices if you want to get your customers to promote your business. Instead of relying on free methods, you basically continue to rely on free methods, but just add paid methods so you can incentivize people financially. Now, moving on. Once you set this up technically, you literally just search for affiliate plugins or affiliate software for whatever CMS or software you use to create your website. Once you do that, then it's time to promote this to your customers. You can do that in an email blast and say something like, hey, now you can make money with us. Thank you for being a client. Now we can reward you for being a client and for sharing us. Something like that. You can also promote such a program on social media, etc. However you reach out to your customers, use those channels to promote the affiliate program. Now, once you have this affiliate program, in my case, when I was still planning to give this a really great shot, I actually created a Facebook group. I'll show you the Facebook group. You see, this is the group, Wave If You Like Affiliates. When I go to the About area, like Learn More, you see there are 267 people here, which is kind of a good number because I started and kind of stopped this group early on. But you see, it was pretty easy to get people into this group and pretty easy to get people to sign up because, well, they were going to get financially rewarded. People were curious. And so what I was doing in this group is I was posting tutorials for how to promote my products. You see here, like I gave away my SEO course so that those people can do their SEO and promote me. Then I gave away other courses. Then earlier on, I posted YouTube videos. I posted a bunch of tutorials and engaged people and answered questions. At one moment, this was very lively. So in your company, if you have a bigger company, you dedicate a part-time or full-time employee to manage this group and grow it, because this is the group where you communicate with all of your affiliates. Of course, you would do that through a few channels, like I mentioned, email and your Facebook and other social media. But you'd have these resources for your affiliates because you want to maintain that community. Because if that community remains strong and they talk to each other, and some people are saying, oh, I made $100, another person saying, I made $500, another person saying, I made $1,000, then the people who are just reading and making zero, they're going to start seeing, oh, I can make $1,000 like this person, and they're going to get hungrier because they're going to motivate each other. That's a common thing that happens in such groups. And then suddenly you'll have a thriving and vibrant community of affiliates. So like, let's say you are me, and like you put out a new design for a t-shirt, right? Because this is like a t-shirt store that used to be, I guess. So you put out a design for this cat t-shirt or a dog t-shirt, something like this. Maybe if you like French bulldogs. Then instead of you promoting that through your own channels, which is fine, of course you would still do that. Now, in addition to that, hundreds or even thousands of other people, your customers, these are the people who signed up for your affiliate program, who can get the financial reward. You would share this new product with them, and you would actually use reward prediction error with them and say, instead of our regular affiliate 25% commission, you get 30% commission on this new product for this new month that it's launched, right? So people are like, I'm already part of this affiliate program. I like it, but here I'm going to get even more. That might get people to act on it and to promote it energetically. And what you ultimately want to do is make your affiliate program in the long term the main livelihood for some of your customers. Because if it's the main livelihood for some of your customers, that means they're bringing you so many customers. That's the long-term goal, to have many people who are making a lot of money from such an affiliate program, because that means that's going to be a tremendous source of growth for you. So think about how to implement such a program in your business so that you can have an army of people promoting anything you release from now on. Now I want to talk about another way in which you can make your customers promote and champion your business, and that is by allowing your customers to make money with your business. Not in the same way as just having an affiliate program and having your customers sign up for that affiliate program. Sure, you can do that, but I'm talking about something a little more direct. For example, think about meetup.com. Meetup.com just lets people create events, and those people pay to create events on Meetup. There's a membership fee, but a lot of people make money on Meetup. How? Well, if they charge per attendee of an event, right? $5 per attendee, 100 people come to the event, let's say, well, then you have pretty nice payday for the day. Something like that. So that's one model. But you see, this model exists just about everywhere online. YouTube, people upload videos, and YouTube shares the revenue from the ads. Amazon lets people sell, shares revenue. Udemy lets people sell courses on its website. People can make money with it, right? So then, of course, if I have a course on Udemy, I'm going to promote that course, and suddenly I am promoting Udemy. Now, what if you don't have a business that's so obvious? Well, a while ago, some years ago, I had a hiking business, and I thought, well, why don't I let people create maps or hiking guides or like really high-end hiking reviews and sell it on my site? I never followed up with that feature, but that was a good way, because then those people would suddenly have, the hikers, right? This was a hiking website. So the passionate hikers who go on a hike every week, who take a million pictures of beautiful pictures, by the way, right? They could create some people, the passionate hikers, like the top 1% of people who go hiking. They know the outdoors. They know exactly the trails. They can sell really cool guides. And if my site became the marketplace for that, well, that'll be amazing, right? So there's a lot of marketplaces like that, niche marketplaces, t-shirt marketplaces, Redbubble, many sites like that, right? Redbubble, if you're not familiar, that's a marketplace for t-shirts. Etsy, also, same thing, marketplace. Those, you don't have to change your entire business model, but if you attach a small element of that, just let people profit from what they already do nicely on your website or some part of it. Well, then suddenly those people will start promoting their products, which are, guess where? Their products are on your website. Just like if I put a product on Amazon, I'm promoting my product, that's on Amazon. Just like if I have a YouTube video, I'm promoting my video everywhere on social media, but it's on YouTube. So I'm really promoting that large business. So let customers partake in the profits, find a way, and then you're going to get a tremendous engaged audience. By the way, this is a really common thing people think that companies do. It's pretty much a standard, and it's creating a small marketplace of anything like that can be also extremely lucrative as well. Another way you can get customers to champion your business and promote your business is by a customer rewards program. These are also standard across many industries. I'll give you a sense of how it should work. I go to a drugstore, I buy anything, and the drugstore gives me a coupon. I don't really need that coupon, but I think, well, I can save some money. And so I go again, and then they give me another coupon. Then I think, I don't really need that savings either. I just needed the first thing, and now I'm spending more. Maybe some family member needs a coupon. Okay. So I go to the family members, and they're like, oh, well, I didn't think I needed this thing. I was going to go later, but I'll go now. I'll take that coupon because it expires, right? They have like weekly expiration, usually. And then they get a coupon. And then suddenly that cycle repeats. And then suddenly that drugstore, they're like, oh, do you want a discount? Well, enter your phone number. So I enter my phone number. Now my phone number has I have an account with it. And suddenly I get weekly reminders somehow of coupons. So many that I eventually get the app about tracking my coupons. That's literally how the drugstores, I don't know where you live, but in the US, this is literally how the drugstore coupon systems work. That's literally, I'm explaining how that works. And it's really addictive. You're like, I gotta save $2. Like, I don't really need $2. It's not a lot in the US, but I'm like, $2, I gotta, maybe. And then I go and buy stuff I don't need, junk food I don't need, things that I probably would have bought less of, just to get, you spend $10 to save something. So I gotta spend $10. And then I'm like sick of these coupons, and then you start giving it to your family, and then maybe your friend needs it or something, right? It usually doesn't extend to a friend in the drugstores, but family for sure. But other stores, they do the same exact thing, but they extend it, but that's maybe extendable to friends. And suddenly it's quite viral. So yes, customer rewards programs, especially where the rewards can be transferred between people, that's amazing because you're really manufacturing virality. Your customers really literally promoting your business. And of course, there's an expiration date. So people are like, I gotta hurry, I gotta make my way there. And suddenly you have all these people coming back to your store who actually don't need your stuff. That's hilarious. So that's how that can work really successfully. With this video, let's begin a new section of the course in which we're going to explore how to add virality to your product or service. Of course, virality is a fun word to think about, but there is a mathematical calculation for virality that we're going to explore in the coming videos, and then we're going to explore how to add a little bit of extra sharing to whatever you're doing so that, extra little sharing, extra little sharing, extra, and suddenly you reach the threshold where the virality is more than the dying off of, people use it but don't share it. And once that happens, there's continuous virality. That's the real virality. There's a formula we're going to explore and some strategies on top of that. So of course that's going to help you get your customers to promote your business. So with that, let's begin this fun section. In this video, I want to introduce to you the concept of virality. Of course, everybody knows virality, but what is it really? So let's start with an easy overview, and then we'll get actually to the math of virality in a second. So obviously, when you share a post, some other people will share that post. Now, here's the thing. There has to be the same number of people or more people who engage from the ensuing sharing. So not you sharing, but after your friends shared, there has to be a bigger reach than your reach. If that's the case, it's viral. If it's not the case, the virality will die off. And we know how to boost engagement, so virality is not really a myth and it's not luck. It's something that we pre-plan for. And there's such a thing as a viral coefficient formula, so we can count this. The formula goes like this. And by the way, you don't have to do the math because I'm going to show you in the next video a calculator that will do it for you, but you have to still understand how the math works. You basically take the original number of people and you multiply it by the number of shares that you get. From that number of shares, you check how many people engaged with that. How many people do you have after? And then you divide newly engaged people by the original number of people that you reached. That's the formula. If the result is 1 or more, congratulations, you're going viral. If the result is less than 1, it's going to eventually die off and the sharing will die off. So here's an example. Let's say you post to 200 people and 200 people see your original post, and let's say 5 out of those 200 people share your post. And let's assume that each person has 200 friends. That means that we have a new reach of 1,000 potential people, but not everybody engages, obviously. So if 10% of those people engage, that gives us a new audience of 100 new people. Let's assume, for example, that every new share results in a 2% reshare rate by people who see the post. So from our remaining 100 people, a 2% share rate will mean that 2 people will share. And if we assume that on average each person has 200 followers, it gives us a new potential reach of 400 people, which is smaller than the initial pool of people we shared to, which means that the virality of the post will die off. And anything you do to increase the virality of the original post, like making it more interesting headline, give it a better image, anything you do to just increase sharing a little bit will eventually get you a few more people and boost your coefficient. And once this coefficient goes over 1, you're viral. So with practice, you'll start creating essentially viral posts. Not right away, of course, but that's the barometer. And of course, you don't really know the reach most of the time, but you'll start to have a sense because of the numbers of people engaging just with your comments and the longevity of the post, so and so on and so on. So that's the viral coefficient formula. Again, you don't have to do the math. We'll go over the actual tool that will show you how to do this in a second. If you don't want to do your own calculations of the viral coefficient, I've got a calculator for you. You can go to nichevertising.com/viral-coefficient-calculator. Scroll down a little bit and I'll walk you through an example. This works slightly different than the way that I've been explaining it to you, so I want to explain to you how to use this one so you don't make a mistake. In our example, let's say we make a post and it reaches 100 people. Then the second line is a little tricky. The number of invitees is the average invitee per member. So let's say there's an average of 3 invitees. So from the 100 original people, each person on average invites 3 people. Some people don't invite anyone. Some people invite a lot of people. So let's say on average 3 invitees per person. That makes 300 invitees. And let's say the number of sent invitees accepted, let's say, is 5% of the people who this is shared with. How many people actually engage with it? So if my friend shares it, how many of their friends are actually going to engage with it? So let's say 5%. Just for our example, it may be slightly high, but it's relatively realistic. And then we'll say calculate the viral coefficient formula, and then it's very low. You see, it's only 0.15. And so you see, you get a few extra people, but the virality quickly peters out and is done. But let's say you get a high conversion rate on your sharing, and let's say that instead of 5% sharing, there's a 10% sharing. And basically all you have to do is, if you already made something, you just have to keep perfecting it. And once you make it funnier, better, more educational, whatever it is, once it's better, it will just get shared more. And maybe you'll improve how you ask people to share it. So it will become realistic that instead of a 5% sharing rate, you'll get a 10% sharing rate. So maybe then, on average, instead of 3, 10 people will share it. And more people will see it. And so let's calculate this formula again. And then you calculate it and you see, oh wow, the viral coefficient is 1. That means it's going to go viral. So like I said, just keep improving your offering, make things that are a little viral, extra little bit more viral, and suddenly you see how easy and realistic it can be that things that are mildly viral or not at all viral become a little bit more viral, and so you get all this extra sharing, and you can just keep doing this formula and see how you would get extra growth. Because at some point it becomes really exponential. Once these numbers, the initial variables, once they increase, the total sharing becomes really exponential. So that's the viral coefficient calculator to help you visualize and see how virality of your pages and products can be calculated, and just how high the sky is the limit. Now that you understand how virality really works, it's kind of incremental, just a little more viral, a little more viral, a little more viral with every change. I want to offer you a strategy for how to leverage ads in a way that wasn't possible before we were able to unlock extra incremental virality from our work. And there's no pressure to run ads, although of course many people wonder, what's a good strategy for running ads? So in this video, just take it as it is. You don't have to spend money on ads, but what I want to show you is that there is a way to make you want to do it, because it will be immediately profitable. Here's how it works. Let's say you have something that's not viral at all, meaning it gets 0 sharing. So if you run an ad to target 100 people, 100 people will see it, and you can calculate, well, maybe you make on average 25 cents per one person visiting your site. On average, maybe you have a $10 product, most people don't buy, one person buys, so the average per person visiting is like a 25 cents. Fine. But let's say now you make something a little bit more viral, just meaning better headline, better images, more funny, something interesting in there, a little bit more of a hook, a little bit more of a twist, and then you start observing the posts that you currently have are actually a really good exercise to do this with. If you see anything on YouTube, on your blog, on anything where you're seeing the numbers are like, oh, some shares are happening. If you see that some shares are happening, you know that this has some viral coefficient, perhaps not a viral coefficient that will make you go truly endlessly viral, but here's how to use ads, you see. So let's say you have some piece of content that has some small virality. You run an ad, you target 100 people, but in the end, because of the virality, let's say you reach 120 people. Okay, those extra 20 people were free because of the virality. Now, you see, you're still making 25 cents per website visitor, but you're spending the same amount to make more now. So you are able to, what you will do is figure out, okay, what's the threshold where, what if my virality is such that 200 people come? Okay, now for the same amount of money spent, 200 people come. At some point, 300 people come. And at some point, the ads you run, maybe it costs you 20 cents to run an ad to reach a person. Well, it just becomes profitable per person, because you're not just getting that person visiting, you're also getting that tailwind of their social sharing, which together will give you more revenue than the money you're spending with ads. And of course, there are secondary benefits like email signups. There's more of those. There's more of everything. You can even run retargeting ads to the larger set of traffic that you got to your website. And retargeting ads, if you're not familiar, it's basically these ads that follow you around. Once you visit some website, you might see like you went to Amazon, then you went to some other site, and then on that other side, you have Amazon ads. Why is that? It's creepy, right? Well, these are retargeting ads that anybody can run to target warm leads who have already visited. They're already familiar. These are not cold leads who are totally unfamiliar with your business. These are warm leads who are more likely to engage with your business because they've already engaged with your business before. So this is a way to leverage virality and ads as an option. This option may open up per different page that you might monitor to see if a page is getting a little more sharing. This is a candidate to start measuring how much money am I earning per visitor for that page, how many people are getting there, how many people are getting there for free with the virality. And that way, without any risk, because you've already calculated how much money you make on average from that page and how much each ad costs, because you can set a budget limit for your ad bidding, then you can run Google ads, YouTube ads, doesn't matter which ads, but you can basically just run limitless ads profitably while creating a great snowball effect, because since your ads are profitable, you can spend a lot of money getting a lot of traffic, because those ads you've done the math, you've done the virality math, and the ads are profitable. So you can spend a lot of money, get more money back, and get more visitors. So that way, that makes your business really viral, like really viral, and really profitable, because you start increasing the revenue. And the key to it is improving the quality, focusing on the high potential virality posts, monitoring how much money you are making, and waiting for that opportunity, for the moment where it is just getting just enough sharing to make it profitable, and you're able to monetize that content just enough, whatever it might be. It might be a product, it might be a blog post with ads, whatever it is. Once there's a little bit of a threshold where the revenue is a little more than the spend, then you know, oh, I can run ads infinitely for a big budget, for big growth of my business. In this video, I want to talk about the quality of your product or service and something called the Net Promoter Score. The Net Promoter Score is a calculation that you can make and determine how many people are sharing your product or service. We're not going to do that here because it requires knowing how many people detract and how many people promote. For most businesses, that's not a number you can actually accurately know, because you really don't know what your clients do after they consume your product or service. But there is a really valuable takeaway, and that is that there are 3 types of customers that are going to interact with your business. People who truly love your product or service. These are the people who will promote it. They will share it. They will talk about it with their friends. Those are the people that you want to maximize. For most businesses, there are few of them. For most businesses, the majority is in the middle, the second type of client, which is people who are lukewarm. They got your product or service. They bought it once, it did its job, but they're not like wowed. They're not going to say anything bad, but they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to share it. They're not going to promote it. And very likely, they are not going to come back again to your business unless they really, really, really need what your business is. And absolutely nobody provides it better, which is actually rare. So in most cases, they don't come back, which is bad. And then the third type of a client is people who hate your business and detract. These are people who leave bad reviews. They take refunds on the products. They do other things that are bad. You want to minimize them. In my career, this has been a really valuable way to look at clients. And my work is always to figure out, how do I make the people who hate my business into lukewarm clients, and the people who are lukewarm into people who love my business. And I just want to always increase people who love my business, because that just does everything, right? When people are happier, they do more what you want. They do more social sharing. They invite their friends, which is essentially client referrals, and other professionals in your field are going to be more likely, because of your high reputation, to give you professional referrals as well. You're going to get more repeat customers. So this is something that actually boosts your revenue. And everything that you improve about your product or service is going to correlate with more sharing. And if you leave it bad, if it's not that great, it decreases everything, right? Like it decreases all the effect of all your effort. And most people, when they start, they're so focused on marketing and promotion that often the quality of the product or service gets left behind, and the entrepreneurs are always wondering, like, well, what's wrong? Why don't the people love it? Why don't they come back? It's so great. Well, no, the truth is it's not that great. The greatness isn't determined by you. It's determined by how people are truly enjoying your product or service. So let's talk about some of the very common things that companies do to improve. More value from the core offering is the number one thing that you can do. What does that mean? It means that you can add a ton of bells and whistles, you can do everything you want, but really at the end of the day, the customer is there for the core value. Whatever the main thing your business provides, it has to do that amazingly. Sure, it can do other things great, but it has to do the main thing amazingly. I'll give you an example. I had an online course that I've been teaching for over 5 years. It stayed approximately the same. I don't want to give the name of the course because I don't want to seem like I'm promoting it, but the takeaways of that course, they stayed approximately the same, which I always thought were pretty good. That course never really got amazing reviews. It was always 4.1, 4.2. And then I started focusing on how do I improve the core offering. I started making better video quality, better audio quality. I got better recording equipment. I improved myself as a presenter. I started doing better editing. I started putting more examples into the course. And everything that students complained about, I addressed. And it helped them learn the thing that I was teaching. And naturally, that course went from 4.1 to 4.5 star rated. And that by itself increased revenue because people started buying because they saw, oh, wow, it's a far better course. So new customers, of course, started buying. And my current students, they're sharing it more. They're more active in it. They're completing more of the course. I focused on delivering the core value, and that made a tremendous difference. And people might ask, well, how should I promote the course? Well, actually, I didn't do anything else other than made it better. And that was a huge part of the promotion. Now, other things you can do is customer support and interaction. If you are proactive in helping your customers, the ones that are confused, the ones which are potentially people who might turn into people who hate your service or product because they're just not sure how to use it. If you support them, if you help them, you'll turn them into people who love it because now they understand how to use it. Also, of course, ease of use, usability, design, if that applies to your product or service, that also is very impactful to improving your net promoter score. And of course, more value from the price. If you do provide more bells and whistles, more things for the same price, of course, people will feel better about it and they'll be happier. It's just natural. And of course, again, shift your focus from sell to new customers to take 10 or 20% of your efforts and put that effort into improving the quality of the offering that you have. Long term, just continue to improve, and you will see that it's as strong or stronger than trying to get new sales. Now I want to introduce you to a very savvy social media marketing strategy that's going to help you get a lot of extra sharing on social media from the customers you already have. And of course, extra sharing is going to help you in two ways. Naturally, it's going to get you more traffic because of extra sharing on social media. But secondarily, it's going to help to boost your SEO, search engine optimization, because social sharing is a ranking factor. And we're going to call this strategy the Sharables and Quotables strategy. Let me explain to you how this would work. Instead of doing what everybody else does, like when they create their product or book or course, people just create it and that's it. In addition to that, one little extra thing you can do is add a shareable or a quotable. For example, let's say I'm writing a business plan book, and this is for people who are starting a business naturally. In every chapter and subchapter, I can have a super takeaway, like one-liner. For example, if I'm writing about business failure, what I can write is, most businesses fail, but there's one secret superpower skill that's going to increase your chances of success by 5x. And that is simply persistence. Learn to be persistent. So people will be like, oh, persistence is the number one skill to turn potential failure to success. And if they're reading a business planning book, they'll be like, there will be an aha moment in their mind as they're reading. Hopefully your insights are strong so that they have an aha moment. And once they have an aha moment, you literally say quotable and shareable, literally write that in the summation of every subparagraph or paragraph so that they know to share this. And suddenly they'll tweet, I'm reading so-and-so's book. Here's a great quote. Here's a link to that book. Or they might refer, instead of the link to that book, they might refer to the book by the name, and their friends can just look it up on Amazon and buy the book. So suddenly you're getting extra sharing. And you can do this anywhere. Like in this course, for example, I don't have this pre-planned yet, but like you could make a little catchy rhyme and say something like, marketing is all about the targeting. Catchy and it's rhymey. Marketing is all about the targeting. I think you can make it rhyme a little better than I'm currently doing. But you see, it's catchy. Marketing, targeting, marketing. The targeting is the skill of the marketing. Something like that. I got to workshop this one, right? Or, you can tweak words like nightmare marketing. Like if you don't want to get nightmare marketing, get this course. So like, I'm going to save you from night marketing. Something funny like this. So either super insightful or funny or interesting, something that stands out so people can share. That's the idea. It's creating the same exact product or content that you would already have done, just with an extra little shareable thing. And the more insightful and the more genuinely good and interesting it can be, the more likely there will be an aha moment and your consumer will feel amazing at that very moment because they're literally learning and this is why they're there, or getting whatever other benefit of your product. It doesn't have to be learning. And at that moment when they're excited, when they feel the best, they will be the most likely to share as well. And of course, for different products or services, you have to structure and position this slightly differently so that makes sense to your consumers. But it's certainly a strategy to think about before you launch your product or service so that you can take advantage of this very feasible and very within reach strategy so that you can get the extra sharing and the extra traffic just from the quotables and shareables strategy. In this video, I want to show you a clever and nifty tactic to get people to reshare your social media account or your content. This is my Twitter profile. If I scroll down a little bit, what you'll see is this tweet. You see, I retweeted it. You see here, it says, I retweeted. Let's read it so you understand what's happening. Bravo, Genadinik, that's me. Your book, Mobile App Marketing and Monetization, is featured in Book Authority's list of best search engine marketing books of all time. Okay, I've never heard of this organization. Book Authority, I don't really know them. My assumption is that they just created this little logo. It probably took them a minute to make that. And then they put my book next to it, and they put 100 other books next to it that they found on Amazon. And they tweeted that to these people. It's 100 best books. That means your book can be pretty bad and it still makes that list. So it's not much of an award, but they tweeted it to 100 different authors, all of whom have somewhat of a social following or a big social following. And because it's flattering, for me, it's a nice thing to retweet because then I show that to my audience. Hey, look, my book got an award. Not only does it show that I got an award, but it shows my actual book. It's a little bit of a promotion for my book. So it would have been even better if they linked to the book on Amazon so that I would have more incentive to retweet it, but I retweeted it anyway. So by creating this little graphic and this little bit of a fake award, got a lot of people, including myself, to retweet it. You can do the same thing. You can create a little award or a little recognition thing. Hey, I believe you're the top 10 entrepreneurs in this niche, or I believe you're top 10 experts in this niche. Or you can make a blog post, top 10 experts in such and such topic, and then tweet that to those experts. And because it gives them authority when somebody else recognizes them as an authority and they share that, it's not like they saying that about themselves, it's somebody else recognizing them. So that's a good thing to share. And a lot of people might share that.
Now, the first time these people shared that with me, I actually ignored it, but then they tweeted it to me again and again and again. Then I was like, okay, I'll retweet you. And I'm showing you this on Twitter, but you can do this on most social networks where you can tag the individual. Like me in this case, I got tagged, so I saw it. And because I saw it, I clicked on it, I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I reshared it. So wherever that functionality is available, you can do this too. And there's not much to it, but it's a really good way to get shared by authoritative accounts.
In this video, we're going to have a real treat. I'm going to give you 4 ways to promote just about anything: an app, a product, a personal brand, content that you made. And the great thing about these ways is that they all have the potential to go really big, and they all can be implemented either today or as soon as this week. And I'm actually doing all these 4 things right now with my music. I have a passion project, like a hobby that I really love, and it's music. I don't make any money from it, but right now I'm doing all these 4 things to promote my music, and I'm going to walk you through exactly. So if you're wondering, like, is he promoting something? Well, I don't make money from it, and actually, if you've done anything as an amateur musician, you know that you actually just lose a lot of money with it. So anyway, so let me show you the music website that I'm promoting, and then I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing to promote it in a big way. So here's the music website. The website is Touched by a Song. This will come into play later. And I have obviously a YouTube and a Spotify and all the things that people have with music. So now that you understand what I'm doing, just basically an amateur musician sharing my passion. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing to promote this. Now, first, and perhaps the most fun, is I made a bunch of clothing with my brand on it. Look at this. I literally went to customink.com, which is a website that allows you to just create your own designs. And all I did is I chose a color of a t-shirt. By the way, these buff arms, that's not my arms, that's a model. But you see, I put my URL of my website, Touched by a Song, and I put a guitar there. So, I walk around. Sometimes people ask me, hey, do you play music? What is this thing, Touched by a Song? And by the way, I also made a hat. And by the way, I also made a hoodie. The hoodie I made from a different place. But you see, if I zoom in, you can see basically touchedbyasong.com and that little guitar. Very similar, terrible design. It's like basically I made it. If you hire a designer, it would be nicer. But even so, I just have fun walking around in this clothing, and a bunch of people see it because I wear my hat all the time. And when it gets colder, I wear the hoodie. When it gets warmer, I wear the t-shirt. And I have a bunch of designs that I made, and it's really fun, and it's a conversation starter, and I love talking about it. So for me, this is great. Now, let's say you make a really nice design and you upload this design onto Etsy, onto Amazon. Now, this is where it can go big, because let's say people search Amazon or Etsy for something like music t-shirt. In my case, because it's music, right? In your case, if you're promoting something else, it would be something else, but something on the theme of your business. And then if you can be number 1 or on the first page of Amazon or Etsy, or even promote these shirts on your website, like I don't actually try to sell these shirts, because for me, this is not about making money. For me, this is about sharing something that I love. But at the same time, even if it wasn't about making money, if more people walked around with these shirts, not just me, but 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people walked around with these shirts on just because I was able to sell to them, well, that's branding now, especially if the shirts are attractively designed. So that's sort of like step 2 of this strategy. First, you make the clothing for yourself, then you make a nice design, and then you promote that design on Amazon, Etsy, and then hopefully that becomes one of the top t-shirts in that little sub niche, and then people just buy it randomly. Random people will buy it, and it has a little bit of your promotion in there. And also, of course, you can sell it to fans who, if they are your fans, they would buy it and they would proudly wear it. And that's just every person wearing it is more and more promotion for you. So I love this clothing strategy. It's fun and it's actually exponentially effective. Not to mention that if you do want to make money, you'll make a lot of money if you're on the number 1 page of Amazon or Etsy selling your clothing design. And you can easily create your clothing brand on Amazon. All you do is go to merch.amazon.com. They print the shirts for you. They ship the shirts for you. All you have to do is upload your designs and go through the sign-up process, and it's actually pretty easy. Very similarly with Etsy. And there's a bunch of additional smaller but still popular t-shirt sites like redbubble.com and so on. So you can sell your t-shirts with your brand that you're promoting on all these places, make a little money, and also promote your brand. Now let's look at a second way to promote your brand, and that is with an ebook. Now, if you're thinking like, I don't want to write an ebook, do I have to write the whole book? Look at this. I wrote a little ebook. Now, first of all, I'm a kind of an experienced writer. I have a bunch of business books that I've written. Those books have nothing to do with my music. So what I did is I actually put together a tiny book for my music. If I sign into my kdp.amazon.com, Kindle Direct Publishing is basically a way for you to just upload your book onto the Kindle. I have lyrics for my songs, and all I did was create a poetry book with songs. It's basically the lyrics of my songs. And you can have this made as an ebook and as a paperback book. Again, Amazon does everything. They print and ship and whatever, all that stuff. And the great thing is the book doesn't have to be long. Like my book, when I launched it, was only like just over 20 pages. And mostly it doesn't almost cost anything. Like here, it's only listed at 99 cents. And but what I do is I go here, promote and advertise. What they allow to do is free book promotion right here, you see? So I create a free new book promotion. I'm not going to run it here, but you'll see how it works. And you basically are able to run the book for free as a promotion for 5 days every quarter. So you can give it away for free, get some readers, and if those readers like what you have to say in your book, they'll go on to browse more of your content and hopefully become fans, because this book is a relatively promotional book of your bigger brand. And the great thing is, well, let's say I go to Amazon and I actually want to search for something like poetry book with lyrics. And obviously my book is on the Kindle, so I'm going to choose to search on the Kindle only. I just haven't made it on paperback yet, but you can easily do that. You see, if I search for something like poetry book with songs, when I scroll down, this book of mine, this is my book, Poetry Book with Songs, it's on the first page. And of course, not many people search for poetry book with songs, but what people do search for is poetry book. Now, my job here, my goal is to promote this so much that this book starts to rank for poetry book or similarly popular searches, which is obviously difficult. But again, if this happens, I'm going to make a lot of money with this book by itself. But that's not even my goal. The goal is actually to have people read the book, enjoy the book, and go on to become fans of my work and go on to visit my YouTube and so on and so on. But it doesn't have to be music. The music is just an example. Obviously, if you have an app on some topic like dating, you can have a dating book and people can go on and get your app. Or if you have any product, create a book that addresses some issue that your readers might have that your product helps with, so that your product is a natural transition. And again, if you want to have a 20 or 30 page book, it's very easy. You can turn that into a longer book later. You can just keep adding to the book and add new additions. But in the beginning, it's really like only 10,000 words of writing, which is actually not that hard at all. It's just a few blog posts that you put together. So you can have something very minimal. And if you don't like writing, you can have somebody write it for you, and it's not that expensive to have that outsourced. And of course, if you're already writing a book on some topic, the bonus tip is that you can actually just have a course created on that same topic too. Same content as your book has, but the book is for people who like to read, and the course would be for people who like to learn by watching video. Now, what's the third promotion? And that is to create a cool email signature. Whenever you send an email, you can choose to include your signature. Obviously, for some professional things, I wouldn't include my music, but if it's to friends or if it's to anybody else, I may choose to add a certain signature to my email, and it would look something like this. So like, let's say I go to Gmail, and this is not my real Gmail. I just made this email to create test videos, so it almost doesn't have any emails. But what I would do is I would go to settings here, and then I would click see all settings. And then what I want to do is scroll down to the signature. And there you go. You see the signature area, and you just say create new. So what I would do is give it a name, like a specific song. So I recently released a song. It's called Kissed by a Song. So I might just do that. By a song, promotion, create. So it lets me create a whole signature. So I can write something like my new popular song, and then I'm going to go to YouTube and just get the URL that I want to promote. And on YouTube, basically, I just go to Alex Genadinik music that I search, and my whole account is there. You see, here's my account. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can get any of the songs. Like I'm going to go to videos, and this is that Kissed by a Song. So I'm just going to get the promotional link. So you basically get the share and get your link, copy that here onto your clipboard, paste that. And also what you can do is, just to draw attention, add an image. So I'm going to go and upload this image that I already have saved, but you can upload any. So this is kind of like me performing, so people can see, oh, this guy performs. Even people who you might email, but they have no idea what you do on the side, right? Maybe some acquaintance. Well, this is how they get to know, and they might appreciate it. They'd be like, wow, I had no idea Alex sings. And they'll be like, is it terrible? Let's see. So then they might click on my YouTube, and of course, my goal right there is accomplished. Boom. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I'm creating this signature. So I'm going to select, and so it looks pretty cool, right? I got this image and I have promotion of my song. Of course, the link, if you have it, you should always link it. So it shouldn't just be a static link, just text. It should be linked. Perfect. So people can easily click on it. And then the image itself, it might be a little big, so you might want to make it like this, right? So it's not obnoxiously big, and then it's really cool. And then when you're done, what you want to do is scroll to the bottom and say save changes. So when you, after that, compose an email, look, here's your signature. You're promoting your product or your business or content, whatever you're promoting. Boom. Now I'd probably make my image even a little smaller, but essentially now you can do all these things, and if you promote all these channels long enough, they themselves will start drawing new potential fans and customers. That's the beauty of them, is that most of these strategies can grow big. And if they can't grow big, they win with engagement, because people you're emailing with, they're probably friendly with you. And so they actually probably will want to take the step forward and learn more about you, especially if it's something interesting and you make it appealing with your copywriting here. So it's either potential to scale or potential to make a human connection. With this video, we're going to kick off the section of the course that talks about running social media contests. And throughout the next few videos, I'll actually walk you through every step of it. There are a few benefits of running contests. They're going to boost your existing follower engagement, and they're going to get you a little bit more sharing, because those followers will be telling their friends about your contest, like, hey, look at this, here's what you can win. So you'll get a little bit of social activity and sharing that way. And you'll be able to also run ads to your contest to get new followers, because a contest is a pretty interesting and compelling thing to run ads to, especially if you have an interesting prize that people can win. Also, a good idea is to create an event hashtag. Here's an example of a hashtag: Alex Book Giveaway. Now, this is not a creative or compelling hashtag. It's just my example. In your case, the shorter and the more catchy and the more unique your hashtag can be, the better. And you can actually use this hashtag all over social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere. And so this way you can cross-pollinate your followers so that you can share and reshare your contest all over your social media. Now, let me give you some easy contest ideas. It doesn't have to be hard. All a contest can be is answer this question right, give them a little trivia question, and you'll get some little thing like an ebook or something. And the ebook is just a PDF really that you're going to be sending to them. And the question can be something about your business so that people can get to know your brand a little better. What year was my business founded? Some question that is interesting and funny to answer. Another kind of a contest is tell them like or comment or give opinion about something to win. People enter simply by liking or commenting, and this creates extra engagement on your social channel there. And one other interesting thing is ask people as the contest to post the coolest photo of them using the product, traveling with your product, or at your place of business. This creates engagement. It looks like people are really actively using your product. They're visiting your business. So it will show that there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of buzz or movement around this contest and around your business. You can also run very popular, you might have seen this before, fill in the blank or create a caption for this funny image. It's really fun for people to do. It gets their creative juices going, but really you're just getting extra engagement with this contest. So you see, the ideas are really simple and you can run them within an hour and finish them essentially within that same day. And
this enables you to create these kinds of contests weekly, especially if people know, hey, every Monday is Contest Monday, so they'll be ready and they'll be more engaged. And after a few weeks of this, there's going to be a lot of activity around your contest. Of course, the last thing that people really like to do is enter your email in order to be chosen to win in the contest. Yeah, of course, because as a business owner, you want to collect their emails, and it's perfect for you because they'll be glad to enter the emails in order to try to win. Now, let me talk about what you can give away. Something that's really easy for you to consistently give away without any cost are digital products, ebooks, online courses, memberships to things, or any kinds of digital products. If you don't have any like that, you can license them somewhere or buy pre-made ones, or you can literally create your own PDF. And this is something you can give away every week. So imagine if you run the weekly contests, that's fantastic. It's no cost to you, and you're going to be making your group or your account or your followers, you're going to be waking them up. And instead of them lurking and just reading, never commenting, eventually, slowly, you're going to get new people to wake up and begin engaging with your account. You can also give away your time. Let's say sometimes I say I'm going to give away 15 minutes with me. You can do a coaching call with me, free 15 minutes to whoever wins. Time is much more expensive, of course, but some people might like that better, and it helps you to have a variety of things people can win, because if people can just win the same old thing, people who never want a digital product will never play in that tournament or in that quiz or in that contest. So you'll just never wake them up. So that's why it's good to have a variety of different things you can offer, so that different people would get interested in different things that you're giving away. Also, you can give away status. People want status, even though it's arbitrary. Status can be as simple as you're going to be chosen as like member of the month, follower of the month, or you can be given access to more exclusive social accounts. It could be a paid Facebook group, or it can be your paid membership site of your area or something. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but essentially people will want the status of being one of the top people, or simply being mentioned as, hey, so-and-so is the top member this week. That's another thing you can do that's not that difficult to give away. And of course, if you have some kind of premium features, that's also easy to maybe sometimes give away. And if you want to have a really significant contest, like a rare one, maybe once a month or once a year or once every 6 months, you really want to try to hit it out of the park, you can have large contests that you run a lot of ads to, and the prize can be significant, like an expensive gift card, or maybe, for example, if you're running a digital photography group, well, you can give away a fancy digital camera. Then people will really want to win that, because that's hundreds of dollars. Now, it's expensive for you, but the quality of your giveaway is going to have direct correlation to people's participation. So I'd experiment with a lot of small and weekly contests. And every once in a while, if you see engagement on your small and weekly contests, do a bigger contest to really hit it out of the park and really get a lot of activity around it. In this video, let's go over how to actually set up your contest. So I'm going to go, this is my page, my business page, and I'm going to go to this create a post, and I'm going to upload my visual. Remember that visual that we created to have the text of it over the visual? In my case, it's this one, and it's going to upload and you'll see it. So that's going to be the picture. You see, there's going to be text that we created when we edited the image, and the text is going to reinforce what we did. And what I want to say in the title of the contest announcement, something exciting, and I'll just type it out and I'll show you how it will look like. So you see, basically I'm going to say announcing a contest, like this photo in order to be entered to win my best-selling business planning book. And you can even link to the book from here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it promotional of my book in this particular video, but you can definitely link, and you should link to the thing people are winning. What you should also say is the rules and contest. And so I added this sentence here. All members of this page are eligible to enter. You can rephrase it also saying all people who have liked this page are eligible to enter. And you can also say this is sponsored by my business, Problemio.com, and not by Facebook. Also, what you have here is a couple of options. Should this go to the newsfeed or should this become your page's story? Newsfeed is just fine because you want to have the options to boost this post. Again, if you're doing this from a group, you cannot run an ad. You cannot boost the post to the outside people potentially to discover it new. But because this particular one is from a page, then you can boost the post later. But for now, we're just posting. So that's the post. And when you share now, it's going to go to people who have already liked your business page. And what you want to do is get a lot of activity on this so that, as you already know how the Facebook algorithm works, when there's a lot of activity and a lot of commenting, all that activity and commenting starts showing up in more people's feeds. So your contest organically gets a bigger reach. And of course, you can boost it with running a little bit of ads to it. So that's essentially how you post your contest announcement. If you're looking for free things that you can give away in your contests, here is an interesting site, free PLR downloads. What this means is that you can get stuff for free, ebooks, online courses, videos, a lot of things like that, and free. The only problem is usually it's very low quality or of moderate quality. So you have to sift through it and make sure that it's acceptable for your customers, the people who you're giving things to. If you desperately need something free, this is a good place to start because it's obviously free. But if you need something of higher quality, then I recommend either licensing paid content or making content on your own. And it can be very easy to create content. You can create a little PDF, but something that you feel is really, really good. That's the quality barometer. Ask yourself, do you want that item? In a way, content from here, mostly it's not very good. Every once in a while you can find something pretty good, but generally long term you want to think of what are some awesome things to give to my audience, not super basic, because you don't want them to be disappointed, and once they have a bad experience with you, they may never really engage with you again. They might lose that respect. So be careful using this. I don't fully recommend it. This is more like a quick fix to find something literally today to give away. But long term, I think you want to strive for something of higher quality. In this video, I'm going to give you some cool tips for announcing your contest winners in a way that will make people want to play next time. I'll show you how. So first of all, when you announce the winner, you want to announce not only the prize, but the benefits. If it's some book, the benefits of the book. Like they're going to know this and they're going to know that, and it's going to be super cool, and they're going to be able to accomplish that, so that everybody else wants to win that book next time. And with this announcement, announce the date of the next contest. This is where you can say this is every Monday, or also you can use exclusivity or scarcity instead of the regular option. Oh, like every Monday there's a contest. You can take it the other direction and say this is the last contest in a while, or the last contest of the month, or the last contest of the year will be next week. Make sure you enter that one because that will be the last one. Or there's only like one prize left. Make sure you really jump on that one. So both ways work. You can have a regular contest, or you can have scarcity or exclusivity, because that pushes people towards taking action because they don't want to miss out. Now, here's a hack. Even though like Facebook doesn't allow you to ask for reposts of announcements of contests, it doesn't say anything about asking for reposts of the winner announcements. So you can ask people to share the winner. That's okay as far as how I understand their contest rules. Now, here's another hack. You can actually turn the announcement into another contest by saying, please like or comment on this particular post, which is the announcement of the winner, for a chance to win another copy of the ebook or another membership somewhere. So essentially, you are creating extra engagement, extra buzz with your audience. That actually becomes the next contests, like subconsciously. People think the next contest is whenever you announce it, but really this becomes the next contest because you're literally saying like or comment, and you'll choose a winner from those likes or comments, which essentially really is the new contest. So you can turn the announcement, the winner announcement, into a totally new contest, which is a pretty cool, nifty hack. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of ideas for big brands and how they did social media contests. This is Eggos. If you live in the United States, you would probably know Eggos. They advertise a lot on TV. They've been around for decades. Well-known brand. And all they did is they asked people to upload photos of their own recipes, fun recipes of Eggos with Eggos. But because they have a lot of customers who know them, a lot of people eat this stuff. Guess what? A lot of people posted amazing pictures, and guess what? These are recipes that probably inside Eggos they didn't even think of, like banana split nachos. This is a breakfast kind of a thing. So waffle with nuts. People put all kinds of fun things on it. And guess what? I'm not a fan of Eggos, but now I want to eat these things. They look beautiful. Look at that southern pecan bars a la mode. Oh my God, I want to eat it. Not only do they get the fans engaged, but they actually get amazing fan activity and extra people who want to, now I want to buy these Eggos and I want to eat them. So that makes it super fun, super visual. And I'm a person who's not engaged, and I saw this and I'm like, I want this. Now, am I going to buy it? I don't know, because I'm busy working at the moment, but at least I want it. So next time I'm in the store, I'll think twice about it. I'm like, maybe we can do something cool with these Eggos. So now let me show you another example of a successful contest that's really different. This is from a hockey team, San Jose Sharks, and they have a hashtag, San Jose Sharks Territory. So if you click on this hashtag, and this can be on social media like Instagram, anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, you see a lot of people, they have this little sign, Sharks Territory, and they have fans coming everywhere and posting pictures of Sharks Territory. Look, this is like a people going on vacation and they have the Sharks Territory. There's a lot of fans doing this. You can see a lot of people, like a person randomly hiking and they're wearing a Sharks jersey and they have this Sharks Territory thing. So it's a lot of way for fans to have fun, to feel like they're part of the team, they're part of the fan club. It's a way for the team to build buzz and excitement and just fun around their brand. So they've had this Sharks Territory for a long time, these hashtags, and it's actually working. It's fun. People know of it. They post. It's a really good way to engage people and get people posting pictures with Sharks jerseys and all of their branded logos and all that stuff. So these are a couple of interesting examples for how brands do contests. In the next video, we're going to do an exercise where you create your own contest, where you make your own contest idea.
We're almost at the end of the course, and there's one thing that I haven't mentioned, which really is at the core of having your customers share your business. And that is no trick at all. The most direct way to have customers share your business is to strive towards quality. There's just as much sense in putting resources into building a better and better and better and better and better direct product or service than adding these quirks and side features, etc., because the quality of the product, if it exceeds your customers' expectations more and more and more, that's going to create customers who are champions in the very same way that you're going to create customers who are champions if you find strategies to get people to share your business. So definitely you can do one or the other or both, but certainly make sure to never forget the plight towards quality. All the time, improve, 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 improve. That's the 80-20 rule almost of getting your customers to promote your business and to champion your business.